group with Freddie
Yeah.
Mercury. I got all
As
excited there
well.
for a second. I
As
was like,
well.
we're
As well.
got Freddie
But
Mercury going on here.
yeah, most people naturally. I have a neighbour about 3 doors down. Every time I see her, she's like, "I've been to Australia. I've been to Buckingham Palace, and and I've been here, and I've been there, and royal family this, royal family that." And I just nod politely.
Because the monarchy does not interest.
No, I'm a Republican and always have been, which is very, very, very not British. And I'm also have a Dutch passport, so I couldn't give a fuck about them either. So yeah.
Well,
we got that going for us.
Well,
Hey, you know what we should do? As you just told the whole world you don't give a fuck. We should probably start the show. You want to run the credits? Or do you want to I don't even know where the credits are anymore. Oh, wait, here's an intro. Wait. Is this the new intro for the Lost Dollar Business Club? It looks like it. This could be exciting. Yeah. Hey, by the way, before we start the show, everybody, happy 2025, happy New Year. And let's, as we say, get the ball rolling.
This is 2OF Entertainment.
Welcome to the Lost Dollar Business Club, where we talk about business, and not just business. We talk about what makes businesses go up and what makes businesses go down. If you're interested in businesses, this is where it is. We talk about the global economy. We talk about global politics. We talk about everything and anything business related that affects your life on a global scale as well as a local scale. And don't miss after the show, Lost and Found. Are you trying to scare people with that picture? What are you trying to do? It's not Halloween. What the heck?
Yeah.
So people that are listening on the podcast, they have no clue. But he shows
no, it all sounds the same. But
okay.
It does all sound the same to them, but it doesn't look the same, and that's the problem.
That's right. Yeah. That picture. Let me tell you, 3 people just dropped off. They got scared. Kid could watch the show. Now he's scared. So there you go. Happy holiday, everybody, or happy New Year. So, Michael, it's good to see you.
Yeah, happy New Year, everybody. And I'll say that January is a very exciting month because I want to give a little preview to who we'll have on our show next week.
Cool.
Cory Doctorow with the antitrust fervor of the globe. He'll be talking about the antitrust fervor that is spanning the globe. He'll be talking about intellectual property overreach as it means to software-defined cars.
Yeah.
And, Cory Doctorow, as Stephen says, Cory.com, is a Canadian tech writer and nonfiction and fiction author. And it'll be great to have him on the show next week.
And he's never sent us a book, bastard. Hey, and David,
he's all digital.
You won't be here next week, right? You won't be here next week.
I will be here next week.
No, but David won't. David won't be. It's past his bedtime. He won't.
Oh, yes, it's a late one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Because next week's show, fans, isn't going to be until 12:30, I think, or 12 o'clock on Friday. Yeah. So during your lunch break, while you're doing nothing, like you're doing something now, you can watch Cory.com because that's his name. It's till I get a book autographed. And then I think on the 24th, if I'm not mistaken, it is Guy Standing.
Guy Standing.
It's coming back.
Universal versus non-universal basic income.
Yeah.
And the top 10th of 1%. Because now wealth is even super rarefied.
Yeah.
And Guy Standing will be talking about how rarefied it is.
And I would like to thank all the worker drones, all 8 billion of you, for it being in the top 1 of 1%. And that you're our slaves, and you should just keep going. And thank you very much.
I'm so excited about him coming on the show that I won't be on the show myself. But
wow!
On the 24th, we're going to lose you on the 24th. All right.
David's giving.
Evidently, a holiday has been booked. So
yes.
A rare holiday for a hardworking man.
Yeah, well, I'm always on holiday, but
David's always it's the significant other who's like, you will take the 25th off, so it'll just be you and I and Guy. John, by the way, I did get a text. I don't know if you guys got it. John is still hunting Nazi gold, hasn't found any, but wished everybody a happy and healthy New Year.
He did.
Well, that's good.
He did,
yeah.
So, we're going it. Well, the senior management, as I like to call her. She's serious. She's in serious need of sunshine because we had a little bit of sunshine yesterday, but obviously for people in the US, you don't care. But Since I think the beginning of December, there has been this continuous grey cloud over, the Netherlands where I live, and of course over the land of my fathers, the UK, and we've had no snow. I mean, we no sun at all, which is great because it's done wonderful things for our solar panels, because we originally thought they were broken.
So they're producing.
She said, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. They're not functioning. And then, of course, with it, you just Google it, and everybody's saying the same thing. Absolutely no sun, so they don't work. End of.
I thought that was the result of geoengineering at the global scale.
Ah,
yes.
Hey, you want to talk something global? Here's something global for you. I know we have some topics, but here's one that I found interesting that fans that we have need to know. Citibank and Bank of America are going to pull out of the UN-backed climate pact for banks. With the incoming administration, and there was just an article this morning in the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, and the FT, all saying that pretty much even the COP 28, 29, whatever it is this week, is like people are going, it's going to die. Because of the incoming administration.
Seems like everybody's sort of, queuing up behind President Trump, because I heard today as well that Clegg, I think his name is Clegg, he was one of the senior people he was an ex-UK politician. He's now he's got parallel promotion and has decided to leave Facebook, and there's now a Republican gentleman going to take over his job. Yeah. So it would appear as if everybody's trying to you got
to suck up to the new king. It's just the way it works, kids. But they say freedom of speech is we're going to keep freedom of speech. That's a biggie, and I'm chuckling because BYD, talking about freedom of speech, is outpacing Tesla in sales last year. There was a big article in the FT about that. And I'm going to be like, okay, as we start talking about things like that on the show, I want to see how freedom of speech happens. When Bill Maher comes back in February and John Oliver comes back in February and they start slamming Donald Trump, I want to see how freedom of speech is going to go, since ABC paid, Mr. Trump $15 million for something George Stephanopoulos said. First of all, if your name is Stephanopoulos, who knows what you're going to say? So, but I'm just saying. So it's going to be an interesting 2025 to the year whenever.
Yeah, well, we're going slightly off topic, Michael. I'm sorry, but
no, I'm trying to get you a chart.
The thing about free speech, I was listening to a debate about it this morning, and it's one of the things that I hadn't really sort of thought about, which kind of hit me like a train, is Australia now has this new law, the ban on under 16s. They did a straw poll in the UK. They did one here. Well, the Dutch don't care, but they did one here in the UK. I think like 60% of people were happy with that. But the argument is, hey, that's a little bit of a get out of jail card for the social media platforms, because they'll just say, well, it's not our responsibility then. It's the responsibility of the parents, is it not?
There are no parents.
Because it's now illegal. So it makes great political rhetoric, and like the old adage, if you can't do good, you have to be seen to be doing good, and that's great. But I just thought to myself, yeah, that's so true. So even the media companies are saying, well, that's not such a bad idea, guys. Yeah, you can ban it. That's fine, and we'll keep that. That enables us then to honour our commitment to free speech. And if anybody goes out and blows up a bomb somewhere or does something completely mad, then it's all the fault of anybody who has children under 16.
I knew I never liked those kids under 16 for a reason. Anyway, what do I know?
Terrible.
What do you got for us?
Sorry, a little bit off topic, bit of a rant. But
we're always on this show.
We're always off brand. Hey, before Michael gives us his chart, and we don't want to interrupt him, but let's just do this really quick.
Get the freedom and the flexibility of remote work in the lucrative tech industry. Bend your life around the world. Bandicoot is the premier course and community for thriving in a remote tech career. Join the revolution today. Bandicoot.com, official partner of the Lost Dollar Business Club. All right.
And we're back.
Yeah.
Now, kids
Ooh.
that are on the podcast, you can't see this, but we've put up a chart, and Michael's going to tell us what the chart is. So you people watching can actually see the chart, but you people listening, you can't. So just imagine a chart of naked women. No, sorry, go ahead. So.
Well, that would be more enticing than a chart of carbon emissions versus all of the various protocols that have not worked to actually slow carbon emissions. So stop.
Are we on a comedy show now? Is that what we were?
Yeah,
This
is.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We've always been. So all of these, what we're showing on the x-axis from 75 to the present are all the different agreements that have been made to across the globe to supposedly say that we're not going to do fossil fuels. And of course, the chart on the y-axis shows that carbon emissions have not slowed. In fact, they've actually increased despite all of these so-called global agreements. So is it really that bad to pull out of these agreements that are ineffective anyway and maybe find something that's really going to transform the economy away from fossil fuels and really focus on something that's going to work instead of just a lot of lip service, as we see here, that has not been effective?
It's mental masturbation.
What about all those poor convention centers and hotels? They won't have all these. They won't have all these people being flown in. I mean,
it's just like ESG. It's a bunch of crap. There's a whole thing this morning, I forgot which paper, all about an anti-ESG movement, this carbon movement. Listen, it's not stopping. I don't know if I go kudos to Bank of America and Citibank, not that I like either bank, for pulling out, but I don't think it matters anymore. I think it really is.
What can a bank do to pull out then? What do they do?
Well, no, because it's more for like
the customers that
have
involved in those industries. Is that how
you're
going
to fund projects and do this and do that, and you're going to be more carbon. You're going to lessen your carbon footprint. All this make believe crap that nobody's doing.
And now that the physical bank themselves are going to do that.
Globally, they're pretty big. So yeah,
but I mean, forgive me being slightly dim. I don't want to spoil the habit. I don't want to be spoil the habit of a lifetime. But I mean, so they say that, but are they referring then that they are going to now accept a portfolio of companies that are no longer green, or is it what they're doing, or is it just about themselves?
A little bit. They were accepting non-green portfolios anyway. They're just saying they're pulling out of like how to be more carbon friendly and less carbon, but they're going through a whole bunch of rhetoric. So it's like the ESG movement. It's a bunch of BS. So it's to make you feel good. So if I have a big green project, you're like, oh, I'm going to go to Citibank. Ooh, they're green. Yeah, nobody cares. If I'm going to have a project, I just need someone to write me a check. I don't care who the bank is.
So this is similar to the problem of trying to point at consumers instead of pointing at the real producers of the biggest waste. And this goes into, remember we talked about the plastic pollution in the ocean and how one study found that 70% of the microplastics, of the macroplastics by weight are from the fishing industry.
Right.
So most of the plastic that is in the ocean and the Great Pacific Garbage Patch and all the garbage patches that are out there are mostly coming from the fishing industry, but nobody's really saying it. Plenty of studies have been done on it now, but we're all still saying, well, it's because people throw away their plastic on the side of the road, which is not good already.
Right.
But really not coming from that. Most of it is actually coming from one industry.
Yeah, that's the big lobby, of course, is to go to multi-use plastics. But
that's even BS too. Multi-use.
Yeah, because what's happened certainly here in Holland, I think the Germans suffered from it as well, is that they're all saying, oh, that's great. Yes, we'll do that. That's incredibly green. And yes, we'd very much like to do that. We'd very much like to recycle all our plastic. And it's going to cost X number of dollars a kilo if you want to purchase it. But what's happening then is that the single-use plastic is being made by developing countries that the rich West had raped and pillaged centuries ago, are producing it for half or a quarter of the price. So it's
How do
they're
you
all going out. They're going out of business left, right, and centre. So green is great to tell people what you're doing at a birthday party, but it would seem to be absolutely shite if you're in business, because it just seems to be undercut by people and people and countries who don't care. They're just trying to get out of poverty and a little bit of pollution.
which is understandable, because a lot of some of the developing arguments against the developed nations is, look, you were able to pollute on your ascension, and now we should be able to pollute on our ascension.
I like it. I like it. I think everybody should pollute. You remember those commercials back? You guys are too young, but back in the late '60s, early '70s, it was the American Indian, and he would be standing on the side of the road with the tear, and someone would throw like garbage and would land at his feet, and there'd be the tear. And I'm thinking to myself, we were never allowed to litter as a kid. Like, you couldn't throw anything out the window. Like, we always took it to the trash. So I was thinking,
do that?
I was like, who's the idiot that's doing this? That's number one. Number two, kudos to them. But number three, if you're an emerging country and you want to pollute, you knock yourself out. You build all the coal factories you want. You're not going to build nuclear, because we're not going to give it to you. But you build all the coal factories. You burn down all the forests. You do whatever you want to destroy the planet. You knock yourself. You do whatever you think is right, because we, like, China, America, pretty much it. We don't really care. I mean, we say we do. Well, we don't care. And China's not doing anything to curb their pollution, so to speak. I mean, granted, they put some scrubbers on a chimney, which is very nice, but it was like a house with a chimney.
No, but it's a systemic global attitude toward it, and
I think pollute.
Solutions have not been found,
and they're not going to, because people do not care. Electric cars cause more pollution than my car, my V12 naturally aspirated, whatever I have, pump gas, go vroom vroom, 10 miles to the gallon, causes less pollution than me buying an electric car, because of all the crap that has to go into doing the electric car.
Creating the battery and
the battery.
There's a whole push here to go electric, but of course, I said on a show, I think at the end of last year, it's about a 5-year waiting list if you want to build a factory here, you can get electricity.
It's misguided
connected because there just isn't enough capacity. So how they expect everybody to go with electric vehicles, I don't know. But what nobody wants to talk about, of course, is I live very close to the Europort. Has anybody ever bothered to look at a huge container ship that comes in? How much crap that comes out of the funnels? No, we don't want to talk about that.
The shipping industry pollution, you mean?
Yeah, which is probably the largest on the planet, I would think. Right. But while we're happy to ship our happy toys, plastic happy toys, 3/4 of the way around the planet on a boat, who cares?
Well, it would be nice to have more local economies, and I think people talk
crazy
about that. Yeah,
stop. We're not going to have local economies. Trump's going to make America great again, because apparently we fell out of great. And the Chinese are going to bring in money, and everyone who brings in $1 billion or more, they're going to pass whatever they want to do like that. He said that in a press release or in a news article and in an interview. So he's threatened China. BYD now is probably going to put $10 million in America. And by putting $10 million in America, BYD now will have a factory in America making their electric cars, which I would definitely buy theirs, because they seem to be better than everybody else's, because they have longer batteries, but they're still going to pollute. And I'm okay with that, because I go pollute, because while everybody's crying about pollution, we'll make money other ways. And I love it. Yeah. I'm very excited about polluting the world. Let's just get rid of it sooner than later and be done with it. There you go. Because nobody cares.
That's very much of a boomer attitude, though.
Steven's an accelerationist. Okay, I didn't.
And there was an article yesterday in The Economist that talks about my generation, about how we don't give a rat's ass about squat. And I started to read this, and I was like, they said cannabis consumption among, I want to say, people 50 and above. So Michael's got like another year, but people that are 50 and above, they don't care about. If they want to smoke cannabis, they want to drink, they want to smoke regular cigarettes or cigars, they do this, they do. This article was like the people that are 50 and above are living their life like it's still when they
Oh,
were
yeah.
kids in the 60s and
Yeah,
70s.
behind-
And here's what's funny about that. I read that article and I'm like, whatever millennial from The Economist wrote that, you're a pansy, number one. Man up. You're going to die anyway. If you want to drink whatever, or smoke a cigar, or smoke marijuana, or have a cigarette, who cares? Okay, it's not your job to do
It's
it.
a free country,
Yeah,
man.
it's
It's a free
the
country.
boomers are living the life because they're
Yeah, we
having
are,
more
because we don't
sex.
care.
They're having more.
We all
They're
live
having
now
more
to be
sex
100,
than.
and we don't care because
Yeah,
we know we've screwed up the planet. And when we said, let's try to make it better, everybody just kept saying, you don't know what you're talking about because you're over, say, back then, 40 years old. You guys
45,
don't
yeah,
have a clue.
45.
And now, you know what? We're like, screw you.
That's
You know
also
what? We're going to enjoy life.
what's
And that's
also, but it's easy for a baby boomer to say that, though, because boomers, which make up 20% of the population, have more than 50% of all the wealth in the United States, which is
And more than 50% of all the sex as well, and STDs. Yeah.
apparently.
I just want to say to all the girls, you're welcome. Anyway, but no, but I
Boomers
mean,
have
I
more
just,
sex than the 20 to 30s.
yeah, because they don't know how to have sex. They're too
Yeah,
busy
you
texting
know.
each other
Well,
and
they're on
swiping
their
right and
phones.
swiping left. Kids, pay attention to daddy now. You cannot have sex swiping right or left, and you can't have sex
Doesn't
when
work
you're
that way?
zooming and you're on the internet. You have to actually meet physical and go boom, 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 boom to do the horizontal bop. Unless you're gay, then you can do however you do, like this or I don't know. Yeah. But if you're male, female, you have to get physical. You have to be together, actually in the same room to have sex. And our generation, my generation, we know how to have sex. And that's why when younger girls, I see these stories all the time, and friends send them to me for the other shows. And they're like, we should talk about this. These 20 and 30-year-old girls want guys that are like 50, 60, and 70. And I'm like, 70? They're like, that's David's age. It's near death. And I'm like, why? And the girls say they know how to treat a woman. And they don't mean it like take them on a date. They know how to treat them behind closed doors. And I'm just fascinated by that.
What's most important, of course,
You
we know
fall
how to
asleep when you're done.
We know how to drive a camper. I mean, which is, that's. But being green, of course, is an electric camper.
Where are you,
It's
Kermit the Frog?
camper with big
It's an
batteries.
electric camper, yeah.
Big
I'm not
batteries.
going to be until BYD builds a plant in America, and I can buy their supercar, which does bouncies and curves and whatever. I'll go green until BYD. So BYD, I know you watch because you send me texts all the time. So the car company, all you have to do is come in with $5 billion. Donnie's going to approve your factory. You can build it here, right next to the Tesla plant. Show them how it's done. You can bring child labor in.
Well, they have it built in
care.
a lunchtime. That'll be the thing.
Well, yeah, it'll take you like a day, where it's taken Tesla like 17 years to build this factory. And when you drive by the factory, there's still a ton of cyber trucks that are out there.
Well, they've got one less now, don't they?
Well, that's true. And they bought that off, they got that off a car app. So I feel like all of a sudden we've become politically incorrect, but I like it. All right. Anyway, Michael wanted to talk
but the good thing about it, the thing that I found most fascinating about that unfortunate
about
incident,
what?
well, the unfortunate incident in Las Vegas. about the Cybertruck,
Yes.
is that Mr. Musk said, that we've built such a great truck that if they'd have put it in, if they'd have blown up another truck, it would have caused a lot more damage to the building.
And here's what I think. I don't even think the guy blew the truck up. I think the Cybertruck just did it on its own. It's like, I'm a Cybertruck, who cares? And got rid of itself. It's like, I'm going to put myself out of the misery while I can.
Cybertruck went on its own. Yeah.
If another one goes, then it's like the Cybertrucks have
But
gotten together.
interesting how such a tragedy, that he could just refer to the fact that it's the quality build on the truck.
Listen, and what's today? Today's the 3rd because the show's live. Tomorrow will be the 4th. So depending on when you're watching this, in about 16 days, the Donnie's taken over.
Oh, yeah.
So it's going to be very exciting.
The question is then, how long will Mr. Musk still be his friend?
I give it a week, 10 days, maybe a month.
Yeah.
Hey, Doge is already well at work. They've got hundreds of people working under the Department of Governmental Efficiency to.
By the end of next week, they'll have tens of thousands of them working to make government more efficient by hiring more people. It's going to be great. We're going to add another 300,000 government employees to make the government more efficient, not get rid of anybody. I love it.
Aren't they sort of working on a conveyor belt system? Because on the one side, in the US now. On the one side, all these people, they want to chuck them all out of local government and state government, et cetera, because it's all fat and over bloated. And on the other side, Mr. Musk wants to have as many imported, people with lots of intelligence.
Oh,
and
you're going after H-1B. The visa.
Well,
the visa.
no, Musk is like Musk. There's a big article, I think it was in the Journal, or the Financial Times, talking about Musk was saying we got to keep doing this. Meanwhile, you've got the orange guy going, we're going to keep out the immigrants, and Musk and them are like, oh no, we need it for Silicon Valley.
We need them. Yeah.
It's everybody talking out of their tuchus. And once again, the Doji or whatever they're called are going to hire 400,000 people to make the government more efficient. I can't wait to see this. I think everybody should apply for that job. And
I mean, isn't it true that we want smart people from the rest of the world to come to the United States?
We want dumb people.
So
dumb people.
You have a lot of smart people, and they're all working in local government and in state government.
They're all working the new Doji.
And you're pushing them out of the door. So maybe the growth industry in the US will be some sort of form of a bureau that enable to change your name to something quite exotic, and then you can sort of reapply for a job, saying, I've got this different name, I'm a different person, and I'll come and work for you.
We're not Poland. Where Poland said last year, the president was like, we don't want your smart people. He literally said, we don't want your doctors, your engineers. We want none of that. We just want Poland. Right? He's like, enough's enough. I agree we should bring people from other countries. However, and maybe we don't have smart people in America.
It's only 85,000 people in the H-1B visa program.
I know, but does that? And here's my question though: does that mean
that's a lot of cars in the car park, though, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Well, no, but here's my question though: if you have 85,000 people we bring in, whether they're doctors or they're engineers or they're physicists, whatever it might be, and my question is, and I have no dog in this fight. I don't care either way. But does that mean that we don't have 85,000 smart Americans that can do this? Are we? So what that's telling me is all these kids at MIT and Harvard and Yale and Stanford and are stupid.
No, they're just not American citizens. That's what it's telling you.
Saying, I don't know about that. That's what they're saying with the H-1B.
I think they're saying they're stupid.
No.
Stupid. Dumber than a box of rocks.
People in the United States, but you want to open the doors to other smart people.
We don't.
World.
What planet? Oh yeah, the South African guy. He wants to open it because the South African guy.
And contribute to the economy of the United States.
No, we don't. Screw them. We want to be. Listen, we're becoming an isolation country, according to Donnie. So we don't want to have them. Apparently, Musk wants them. So my it still goes back to the tech companies I deal with. They are hiring engineers, whether they're in Egypt, whether they're in other places in the Middle East or Asia or Vietnam, and they don't want them to come here. They just will let them work in their country because one, it's less. Like what you pay someone $300,000 a year here for, they pay them $20,000 over there, and that's like a great life. That's like making $300,000. And they're like, why bring them here? Like they can live there, have a great life, and they still get the work done.
America's still a great country. People want to come here, Steve.
Yeah,
they want to come.
And maybe Mr. Musk has done a deal with President Trump that all those people that come in, they actually will get a key as well, so they'll be able to open the door in the wall, which you of course
that will be built.
And you get a Cybertruck and a robot. You come with an HV1 visa, you get a truck and a robot. Well, see, then and then I would come for that. Sure, I'm open for that.
I want the robot.
I want the robot. I don't care about your Cybertruck, but I just think that it's very funny that politicians, whether it be, I don't consider Musk a politician. I just consider him nothing. But Mr. Trump,
he's the president, is he not? That's what the rest of the world seems. Europe seems to think that
he's the president. Yeah, I know. I've seen the articles.
So having fun with it. They're just
serious. Not having fun with it.
Joking apart, that is a very serious point of view certainly from Europe, that they think that Musk is the puppet master. What do you think then, as Americans, about that sort of statement about your country? They've sort of been hijacked by somebody.
The country's run by people you don't even know their names or where they are. These guys are all just puppets.
Are you pointing at deep state? Are you talking deep state, Stephen?
I've been deep stating since I was born. So, listen, here's the great thing about America and the American people, and we're American people, so we can say this.
We are American.
We are whatchamacallit. We are we are so naive and so dumb that you think that the guy in the Oval Office controls X. The guy in the office controls X until he pisses whoever the real powers are off, and then you're not the guy in the office anymore.
Maybe that's an entree. That's a perfect segue to the Jimmy Carter conversation.
Yeah, we can do that.
Think of it, because actually it was a liberal blog called the Talking Points Memo, but they were saying that Jimmy Carter actually did sign more legislation in 4 years than Clinton and Obama did in 8 years.
Yeah,
he was prolific since World War II, except for Lyndon Johnson. So he got a lot of stuff through Congress, even though they didn't like him at the time.
Right.
Did a huge number of environmental legislations. He saves 56 million acres of Alaskan wilderness. So he did a lot of things to change the regulation of public utilities, so it could be more deregulated. So he did do a lot of things that nobody at the time seems to maybe have paid attention to, or maybe people were paying. I mean, because then he was replaced. Obviously, he only lasted one term.
With Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
Reagan took it in a landslide. Like, I don't think Carter won any states that year. Like, I think the electoral college was like 512 to 0. But I will say, what Carter did that people don't give him a lot of credit for on the international stage, he was an international maven. I mean, like, he did international policies left and right and helped countries and did this. And I mean, I've read several books on him, because I found them fascinating. I find all the guys that, and even the red orange guy, as soon as they write a book that tells the truth, I'm sure I'll read it. Not some BS, but the books I read on Carter, totally fascinating. And the things he did that he never got credit for is a lot on the international side. So I think
it's interesting. I was listening to a part of his speech this morning. Quite strangely, I didn't know it was going to be on the show today. And it's interesting how he, the ghost of Jimmy. But it's fascinating that what he was saying about social media and about control of newspapers and control of how we see the world. It looks like
we lost Stephen. He's
Stephen's he's gone. He's finally the woke society has caught up with him.
Done. Well,
so it was interesting. There was almost like some sort of crystal ball that he had, because you could literally take that speech and place it on everything which is happening in the world today, and you wouldn't know it came from him. And that's it's interesting stuff.
Yeah,
Carter. I thought Carter was a good president. I mean, unfortunately, he got stuck with the gas crisis. For gas went from like 25 cents to $1. He got stuck with the Iranian hostage situation. And what's very interesting, there's a book out that talks about what happened behind the scenes, is that Ronald Reagan's team actually talked to the Iranian government and was like, don't release the hostages until I become president.
Right.
And that was their deal and that they started to do that like in August. So every attempt that Carter made, they were kind of, because, Reagan promised them a whole bunch of stuff. Carter's like, we can do this, and they're like, no, we have to. So the minute Reagan became president, the hostages got released. And that was all backdoor negotiation.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. The American people are naive because they just don't. Nobody reads and thinks.
They don't see
it's a game. It's the same thing. You look at Kennedy and what he did with the missiles and whatnot. Right. There's a game about everything, and I'm assuming there's backdoor stuff going on now.
Right now,
Trump and whoever. But now it's all reported, because back in the day, you only had 3 newspapers and 3 television stations. Now, if someone gets a whiff of anything, it's on TikTok and Twitter and this and that and blah blah. It's like, oh my god, so there's
interesting to see what happens where because Trump has said he'll stop the Iranian
the Ukraine
Ukraine war within a day. It'll be interesting because it seems by all sorts of different reports that things are sort of getting to a stage now where it's like an absolute. It is a complete Mexican standoff. So
the Mexicans are there now. I thought the North Koreans were there.
They had a key. They could get through the wall. So but it'd be interesting to see what happens. Maybe that's part of, because if that does happen, and it happens like, I mean, it won't happen within a day. I mean, that'd be impossible, but within an extremely short period of time, you'd have to sort of think to yourself, hey, you know, how long has this been going on? This hasn't just sort of, you know, fallen out of the sky, has it? So interesting.
Yeah.
So because that just means that they keep the Democrats from, because they would have taken all the credit for that. But apart from the fact that, of course, that nobody in the US seems to be particularly interested in the war with Russia and the Ukrainians anyway. So
Nobody even knows it exists
Well, the
anymore.
people, I mean, I think a lot of people are suffering under their own financial burdens that they're not too concerned about that.
oh, I'm
Let me
all
tell you-
right,
let me-
Jack. Is that what you
Let me
said?
let me let me
I'm
tell
all
you about
right, Jack.
financial. Let me tell you about financial burdens. Then, do you want to talk about that? Credit card default rates are the highest since 2010, according to the
Ooh.
Financial Times. So that tells you where we're headed. And homeless rates, homeless people is up 18%, and this is what they can calculate, which is about
Yeah.
700,000 plus people
Oh
is
boy.
up 18%. That's the size of North Dakota.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
And how many of them are working homeless? Because there's a group of people who are actually homeless and still working, which is
Yes.
even more tragic. So
So what I'm saying is the economy, and it's not Biden, it's not Trump, none of these guys. The economy now and interest rates are going up, so you're going to see a slowdown in housing. So what's happening in America and possibly globally, you're going to start seeing like all this stuff. So I go back to something I said on Adam on the Eve. If you don't take care of the 80% of our population in America who is not doing well, let's say, or is just making it, and that 20% is like, we're millionaires or billionaires. Look at us, look at us. At some point, these 250 million people are going to take a picnic, and you're not going to like the picnic. And what's happened in New Orleans, what happened in Vegas, if you read the newspapers are saying the one in Vegas or the one in New Orleans, they're calling it the domestic terrorist. It's called, I forgot, is black something or other. Not that it dealt with black people, it's black Islamic or blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, it was an ISIS group, ISIS related.
Right. And then the one in Vegas, they're not sure. But my point is that they're saying that we're probably going to see more of this. And yes, because you're not taking care of the masses, and I don't care how wealthy you are, if you don't take care of, and I say this tongue in cheek, the little people.
Well, but it's the society that facilitates the wealth to even exist. I mean, there's got to be.
Michael, can I ask you then, because it's not possible to work without a fixed address in Holland. You have to have somewhere to live.
They make up an address, David. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you have a social security number in America, you can make up an address. They don't check it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what those numbers are, but this was a Washington Post article in July, so it was over the summer.
Right. But I'm sure there'll be somebody who, because you're a very entrepreneurial country. So for all those people that are defaulting on their credit cards, of course, they'll have to throw the credit cards away. And some entrepreneur will be able to, stick them all together and make plastic igloos out of them to put the homeless in. So, that's...
Unfortunately, it's not even a funny thing, because when Reagan got rid of social services in his administration, part of the social administration that they got rid of was, psychiatric hospitals, mental hospitals, hospitals for whatever.
Same everywhere. Same here as well.
But when he did that, the homeless population started to grow. And now we will say we have 1 million homeless people, whether they're children, adults, old people, whatever it is, and nobody's doing anything to help it. So I go back to what I've said now for a year. I'm glad you have this new administration. I'm glad you're going to make things more efficient. You got a big guy that doesn't know what a carton of milk costs, but he's going to do it. This will be interesting. My thing is, what are you going to do for the people who go check to check? Not their fault. It's just they go check to check. If you raise minimum wage to say $50 an hour, that means everything goes up. So it's, once again, it just goes with it. Whether it's universal or basic income, maybe that's a thing. I don't know. They want to cut whatever $1 trillion out of the budget. That's fine. And we've talked about this on other shows. Part of what they say is they want to look at the Veterans Administration and Social Security and Medicaid and Medicare. and a couple and all these, social. And I'm like, defense spending, maybe. But if you cut defense spending, as JFK found out, you don't do really well. So it's like, so where are we going to make things more efficient? Just firing, you say 100,000 people doesn't make more efficient.
Let's say that the shareholders take the hit for once.
There are no shareholders in America.
Well, I mean,
shareholders.
The company shareholders. It's the same here. So everything goes up, wages go up, everything goes up. Yeah, because you're squeezing it at one end. But if if the people who were the shareholders of all these companies, where all the wages have gone up, said, "Hey, I'll take slightly less return on my share capital in order to facilitate it, prices will remain the same." But like Stephen was saying, we keep. It's like the old-fashioned kids game, pass the parcel. Eventually, again, like 2008, the music will stop.
And we've discussed that last show before the end of the year.
And the thing, what happens then? That's the thing. That's the big unknown. People just say, okay, well,
the whole world's going to come to an end. I'm excited.
Yeah, well, that's
Michael, before we go now, David, I'm just letting you know I don't see a lost and found intro. So you had too much cider. Yeah, too much cider for the weekend.
Yeah.
Well, this is what happens. Old people. That's why you can't let old people do things.
We have to.
What do you want to talk about next, Michael? Before we go into lost and found, I know you have one more topic.
Yeah, no, we just have to tease. We have to tease two topics as a reminder, because I think a lot of people will catch on to this. Is that something that I just learned, which has been touted last year, was the video game industry.
Yes,
is $200 billion or more, something maybe $230 billion a year globally, which is more than all film, television, and music combined.
Yes.
And across the globe, there are 3 billion active gamers. So that industry, I didn't realize the scale of it, but it is everywhere. And I think it's a topic we should revisit in the future, because that's something that, if you look at esports, the trajectory of esports, electronic sports, I mean, these are things that are maybe under the radar and certainly under the radar in mainstream media. These are things that have to be talked about.
We should probably get a guy who knows about gaming to come on and talk with us about it. So let's look for, if you're a gamer, I mean, like, you come from a company that we can verify, not like, you play games like David does until 3 a.m. in your underwear. But if you're a gamer, let us, I'm sorry about that. If you're a gamer, let us know. We'd love to have you come on and tell us about the gaming. There was a big article in the FT about gaming and the 250 million or thing that the latest grand car theft came out. It was just like 200, like overnight.
Right.
So the gaming is huge. And
it hasn't even come out yet. That's the grand theft.
The pre-sale.
Yeah, the pre-sales. Yeah, they keep pushing it forward and pushing it forward. Yeah. And the money keeps stacking. So
And then the one other topic is to also tease for a future episode is that the return to office mandates have now been, for the past 6 months, have been flying around the U.S. and global economy. Big tech companies, large companies have been saying, no, you must come back to the office 8 to 6 every day, 5 days a week, and flexibility is no more. But those mandates research is already showing, and MIT Review even did a YouTube video on it, that return to office mandates are not working, are not effective for even by stock value, even by monetary productivity, revenue productivity, and flexibility anyway, in some form. I mean, not pure remote, but at least hybrid flexibility is now an expectation. And the most innovative companies do have some level of flexibility, it seems, in their workforces. So that's a big topic.
But before we go, let's hope we cover that subject. I want to throw something, my hat in the ring for that one. Where's that pressure coming from? Is it coming from big huge companies that own all these office blocks that need people to come back?
Well,
is that where it's really coming from?
Here, let's take Dell. Dell for an example. Remember what we talked about last year with Dell?
Yeah, Michael
Dell
Dell,
said,
yeah.
if you don't come in 3 days a week,
Yeah.
then your chances of getting promoted now are like
Zero.
zero. And if you want to work from home, that's fine, but you will never get promoted if you don't come in. So and also think about it. If I'm, whether Dell or Apple or pick whatever company you want, and I have, especially Apple with their new spaceship in the middle of nowhere that
Right, right.
but if I just spent $1 billion on a building, and there's nobody in it, especially that building, that's awesome for me. I'd get a motorcycle and just loop all day, but that would be me. But I mean, you gotta do something with it. All the real estate that these companies own, and the problem is nobody's getting more real estate. It's not like if I have a company, it's like the tech companies that we talk to and work with. I'm like, so where's all your work around the world? Like nobody wants to have an office per se. Now, I like an office
Well, there
because I
should be
think
some. Yeah, no, I think all of the studies are showing that there should be some level of physical connectivity, but that's flexibility.
I could do that on Zoom though. I can the team that we do some stuff with. Once a day, we have a Zoom meeting for about an hour. We go over everything we need and we're done. And it'll be no different than if it was an office.
Probably meet them in person once in a while.
Yeah, once a quarter. I go.
Yeah, a quarter, exactly.
That's fine.
Well, it's all the snack machines, the water cooler companies, the coffee companies. All these coffee machines. There's a lot of pressure building up to get you back.
I think people are drinking more coffee, not less. But
I don't know.
We'll have a show about coffee prices because makes your eyes
that's
bleed.
personal.
Well, we are going to have we are going to have a coffee industry innovator in a future episode.
Yeah, and we'd like to say on behalf of all the European coffee drinkers, Americans, stop buying all the coffee and stockpiling it because it's pushing the global price through.
Sounds wrong on many levels.
Stop it.
Yeah. Should we do a little lost and found, gentlemen?
Oh, let's do it.
Let's
Ever wonder how millions vanish into thin air, or how a single dollar can make all the difference? Join us on Lost and Found, where we dive into the wild world of financial mysteries. From misplaced fortunes to unexpected windfalls, we unravel the stories of people, companies, organizations, and even governments who've lost and found millions. Lost and Found, because every dollar has a story.
I see that. I didn't see anything happen with that, so sorry. That's a lost dollar. Hey, you know what I found though today for fun? This is what I found.
Wow.
That's what I found today. Now I can do that now.
Even knows how to do it.
It's only taken Stephen 4 years to find it.
That's it, yeah. But now I found it. Yeah. Listen, I explore at my own. I'm like America. I explore at my own. There you go. At my own pace. There you have it. So, all right, gentlemen. Our first lost and found of 2025. Let's just say John is lost. Still in Argentina.
John is
looking for Nazi gold. I don't think he's going to find any, but he's looking. So, John, you keep looking, and we'll see you in February when you come back. All right, let's go with. We'll go Michael, me, and I'm showing David's got some cow jumping over the moon. So this is video. So we'll go from there. What do you got for us, Mikey?
Just as the time where dozens of VPN VPN providers are being hacked. So these virtual private networks, you can hide your location and access servers from around the world. They're being hacked all over the place. Yeah, sure. Whatever you want to do with the VPN, you can do.
VPN's only good for porn. That's it.
Yeah, right. But now
allegedly,
India just blocked all of them because India doesn't like using VPNs. So so they're pulling them from the App Store and pulling them from the Google Play Store. So no more VPNs for you in India.
Wow. Yeah. And I was just
they've moved on to VPLs.
Yeah, just one more letter.
Yeah, visible panty lines. Yeah. All right.
Okay. And this article is in the New York Times this morning, the paper of record, or it used to be until, I don't know, whoever bought it. And it cracked me up. And I'm going to read it because we were discussing our generation, the crazy guys that were born from like 1960 until like 1970-ish, that, we don't care. And this is another, we don't care. The New York Times Surgeon General today. Surgeon General calls for cancer warnings on alcohol. He says that the alcohol beverages can cause including different cancers, including breast cancer, blah, 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 wants Congress to act. It's very nice.
Speech impairment, by the sound of it.
Let me just say this. Number one, nobody cares. Now, maybe they do if they're under 40 because you're all a bunch of pansy pussies and you're worried about everything and, oh, my God, we're going to die and blah, 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 blah. But when you get to a certain age, kids, and I'm talking 50 and older, nobody cares. You know why we don't care? We've been drinking our whole lives. We're going to die anyway.
You're well trained.
Yeah, well, and the other thing is that, you know, Rodney Dangerfield had this great line. He goes, what am I going to do? I'm going to go live really healthy, stop drinking, stop smoking, stop doing this, stop doing that. And then one day I'm going to step off a curb and get hit by a bus. So if you want to drink alcohol, or you want to smoke cigars, or you want to do the ganja, if it's legal in your country or state, go ahead. Enjoy your life. Because when you're dead and on your deathbed, the last thing you need to say is, oh, man, I really wish I had that piece of chocolate cake. Enjoy. You're going to die. You're not living forever. And all these warnings at this point, and we're going to talk about this tomorrow, or if you're watching this on Saturday on the Cigar Show, talking about why warnings on cigars and alcohol are the dumbest things in the world. And we're going to tell you why we think that. But if you're enjoy, drink, live, have a wonderful life, whether it's you die tomorrow or you live another 50 years, just enjoy your life.
Enjoy.
Yeah, that's it. Enjoy.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That's a very long lost and found, but there you go.
Whoa! That was
basically, this is the golf ball being put on with a proverbial tee, and you're going back to prohibition. Then it was saying. So
no, they're just warning that if you drink alcohol, it's going to kill you. Not like when you walk around the city and you inhale all the pollution, that's not going to kill you either. Or you fly in a Boeing jet allegedly. I mean, like there's no warnings on those. You know what I'm saying? Let's be realistic. You're going to put a warning on everything. Don't get an electric car. Could cause radiation. Could die. Don't do this. Don't pump gas. Don't breathe ethanol. Don't breathe if you go outside. Don't do enough. Like enough with the warnings. If people are that stupid, who cares? Really, enough. Like I don't care what the Surgeon General says. The Surgeon General's got his head up his ass. In fact, I had dinner with him the other night. He told me I should smoke 2 cigars a day. I guess because we're friends. So there you go.
Right.
So,
it was good though. It was worth it.
Yeah, there you go. David, what do you got?
Well, I've got something. I've had a little bit of time off, so I've had a chance to go completely mad. But I was looking for something. And I found this. This is the strangest thing ever because
ever.
Ever. Strangest thing ever because basically what it is somebody has managed to reinvent something which we all use every day. And I thought this was an absolute winner. So you get this before you get a chance to have a look at it. And This is basically what it is. It's this new form of spoon.
Oh my God.
Oh boy.
So it's weighted, so you can use it as a measuring object. You can use it to scrape your pans. It's a silicone spoon that scoops, measures, and scraps the bowl clean. What kind of pig are you that you need to get your bowl clean like that? Oh my God. It clean the food, hygienic things, support union.
It's got a unique handle design. And it's the spoon up and off your table.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So it's actually weighted. So when you tip it over, you can use it to put your liquids in if you're cooking. And I just thought to myself, there you go. Somebody's reinvented the spoon. We've had reinvented the wheel.
They've made a spoon.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know, not life changing, but
no, this is life changing.
Are
you kidding? This is going to be, I'm sure, all over the world tomorrow on the news.
It is already all over the world. That's how I stumbled upon it. So
David,
how many did you buy, David? How many did you buy?
I didn't buy it. I didn't buy it. So like I say, I've said to Stephen, I'm not actually in the man cave today. I'm downstairs. Because it appears that half of Amazon's been purchased and I'm waiting for it to arrive today. So as part of that journey over the Christmas period, or over the holiday period, I should say, I stumbled upon this particular object.
Did Annette order one of these or not?
No.
Okay, just
No,
checking.
no,
I
no,
just
no,
no, you're like, no. I'm just promoting it. So
No,
if you're the sponsor,
I'm not sponsoring. I don't have any.
you don't get
skin
paid
in
for
the
them.
game.
Okay,
No,
that's
just a
funny.
fascinating product.
Yeah,
A
that's
spoon.
very nice.
Could you say to your design department, like, guys, here's a spoon. So it's like the Wolf of Wall Street, and he says, sell me this pen. They probably said, "There's a spoon. Go and reinvent it."
And they did.
And they did.
And
They added a
I find
letter. They added one vowel to the name.
Yeah,
that's
very nice. So for you people on the podcast, we're sorry that you can't see the picture of the new spoon, but if you're bored, come to YouTube, check out the channel, and
check us out.
you can see out the thing. Guys, this was a fun show for 2025. The first one.
The first one.
And just to let you know, we were talking about this. This is show 685, and it's our 4th year of TOF
Season
Network.
4.
Season 4, our 4th year.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Who knew?
And more than 100,000 subscribers.
More than 100,000 subscribers, and it's growing.
And we're growing.
Like, like who knew? Who knew that we were going to grow? It's one of those things. So, but it's very cool. So we want to thank you for watching. If you watched live, you can always give us comments, and the fact that you don't, we kind of like. And then tomorrow it'll be rebroadcasted. So, and after this Lost Dollar Business Club, you can see Habano Saturday, which is a live cigar show with our sommelier Usman, and he'll give you a history about Habano cigars, and we'll talk cigars and politics, which will be interesting. A little different than this show because we have Riza, and for you guys that don't know him, he's a trip. Yeah. And next week our show will be 12:30 Eastern Time live on Friday because we have a special guest, Cory.com. No wonder he doesn't like me. And or his real name is Michael?
Cory Doctorow. Cory Doctorow. He's a Canadian who's living in California, and he's in the PST time zone.
There you go. There you go. So we will see Cory next Friday. And for all you fans or depending, have a happy and healthy New Year. We're glad you got to join us Friday or Saturday, depending on when you're watching. And we'll see you next week. And don't forget to subscribe and like. Anything else, boys?
Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to
Happy New Year.
2024.
And we are.